Hello and welcome to Mystic Visions with DrShiny. This is a monthly tarot reading for Taurus for the month of June. So thank you for watching, and if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. And we're going to go ahead and get going with your reading. Okay. All right, I'm liking these cards, Taurus. All right, very cool. All right. So what we have for your current situation is this magician in the reverse. So, feeling a little frustrated, not able to perfectly manifest the way that you normally are, or with as much skill or success as normal. So, maybe feeling a little bit blocked, feeling a little bit off your game. And something is kind of distracting you here. Something is becoming a little bit annoying for you. So let's get into what that is before we go into too much detail on this current situation. We'll just say that typically, in the upright, you'd have this tremendous ability of bringing about whatever your will has in it, and manifestation, right? But something's got you blocked. So what's influencing you or crossing you is the Hermit. Okay, so two possible meanings to the way that this is influencing you. One of them is that you have been spending too much time alone and not really as active. You haven't been putting your action into the universe. And this is the case when this is crossing you, right? But this can be crossing or influencing. So, crossing you, this is sort of blocking your energy because you're spending too much time internalized, self-reflective, and you're not accompanying the let's bring this into like the realm of the law of attraction here. You may be trying to manifest something, make something happen, and it's not really working, but that may be because you're focused too much on the thing that you're manifesting and you're not kind of like letting it go. You're constantly thinking about it, grasping at it, and reinforcing the idea in your head that you don't have it, right? So, this is about finding a balance between your visualization, you're focusing on what you want, and also taking your hands off the situation, or diligently working toward it. Working toward it is a way of releasing that mental energy into the universe, and it's almost like a ritual, right? You put work into something, and it begins to happen. But the other possible meaning of this is that you're not focusing enough on what you're trying to do. So there's kind of in this position, in the crossing position, there's kind of a two-pronged meaning for this. And so I'm not gonna, which one it is. Either you're kind of like too in your head about it, or you're really not focusing enough. You're too distracted, right? And one of those two things is what's kind of blocking your ability of manifesting. Um, so another way to look at this is again that anytime you're trying to manifest something, there is this balance that has to occur between the internal visualization and focusing on what you want and avoiding that sort of distraction, but then also diligently working toward those goals and putting action into your will and into your desires. Okay, so a lot of people get stuck with that. They think they can sort of wish their life into existence and not really put any work into it. And that isn't to say that you have to accomplish all the work yourself. The universe is very likely to reward you with some shortcuts and um, some unexpected pleasant surprises, but you have to get into a mindset where you're open to those things. Otherwise, you don't see the opportunities, right? You're priming your mind to be in a more of a cynical state instead of being open to these new ways of looking at the situation. Okay, so what we have for your past is this Nine of Cups in the reverse. Um, typically a very positive card, the wish card. But what this can mean is that you've maybe had a string of bad luck and you've become a little bit cynical about that. You've kind of thought, well, this is my luck, right? So this is another way that you can kind of like get yourself off track. You can start to send signals into the universe that you believe that things are going to happen poorly. Now, I'm speaking about that in sort of like a mystical way, but let's bring it into the scientific realm a little bit more. When you when you think anything to yourself, it's not just a thought that exists solely within the conscious mind. There is also the effect of priming your subconscious, and your subconscious is it's to a great degree it's what defines how you see the world around you. So you're not just seeing what's actually there, you're seeing parts of what's there combined with what you expect, right? Your expectations are a big part. I came across that realization myself in a very odd way. I was spinning a ruler, one of those rulers, the metal ones that has like cork on the back of it, right? And I had it upside down and I had it on the table and I was spinning it. And as I was spinning and spinning and spinning it, all of a sudden I would just stop it. But then I was staring right in the center because I noticed as you're spinning it, it's almost like you see these little black circles that are made out of that cork just spinning around so fast. It just looks like one continuous circle, right? And then you stop it. And if you stare very closely into the center where those circles were, all of a sudden the cork looks like it's still spinning. It's still kind of warping. It's like an optical illusion, almost like a feeling of like dizziness. When you stop moving, you still feel that motion. And I started to realize, why is my brain doing this? My brain is creating this motion of the cork that's not actually there. That optical illusion is something that my brain is producing. And I consciously know that the ruler has stopped moving, but my subconscious is still producing this illusion in my perception. So that's an illustration that what you see is really just a tiny sliver of what's actually there, and most of that information is filled in. The gaps are all filled in by what you subconsciously expect to be there. So that's why it's important to take note of the way that you're talking about your luck, or how the universe typically treats you, or the way that things just go for you. A cynical attitude can really sink your ability to manifest because it's priming you to subconsciously expect things to go wrong, if that makes any sense. Okay. Really good reading right there. Really love the reading you've got here today. So that's what you're moving away from. I don't think I even mentioned that. That's what you're moving away from. So perhaps merely as the result of reading this, or watching this video, you're moving away from that more of a cynical attitude. You're aware that you need to adjust your perception. The awareness of the hiccups in your ability to get what you want or to make things successful. I use the term manifesting. That hiccup is basically the reason that you're here right now listening to this. So you're moving away, you're seeking guidance, you're seeking help. So that's a good thing. All right. Now, what you have in your future, what you're moving toward, is this Three of Coins. So this represents being a little bit unwilling to collaborate with other people or not wanting to work with certain people. It can mean that you're kind of wanting to do it on your own. You don't want a lot of help. So this could be one of those ideas that affects your chances of success, because what happens is any successful person, I mean, you think about, and it doesn't even matter what your definition of success is. Anybody who is successful in any definition does that with the help of other people. You know, think of like the CEOs of these, like Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, right? Everybody says, well, he deserves the amount of money he's got because he made the biggest corporation in the world and everybody benefits from it. Yes, but he would not have that status and he would not have that accomplishment under his belt if it wasn't for hundreds of thousands of other people, not to mention all the people who buy things from him, right? So success is a joint venture. So you're going to want to be careful about not or being resistant to having other people help you out in your goals. And this can be quite a block for you. So, on the other hand, if you're too overly reliant on other people helping, then that's not good either, right? So have some confidence, some faith in yourself, but know when. We'll put it this way: if you're thinking, "Oh, I just can't do this," and you leave it there, that's an unhealthy thought. That's negative self-talk, right? But if you're thinking, I don't know how to do this, so I need to get help. And it's an action, right? Something that leads you to a decision to go find the help, to learn something. Then that's an incredible positive. So, admitting to yourself that you don't have the ability to do something is not intrinsically right or wrong. It depends on how you treat that realization, right? Okay, so let's move on. The foundation. This represents, what is the universe trying to teach you through this situation? What's in the subconscious? And you got this Two of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so this can be, all right. So Two of Swords upright is feeling a little paralyzed because you don't know which way to go, right? And this is not wanting to be that in that situation. This is sort of trying to always have a clear direction, and this is what's got you in this predicament. Is that what's going on is you need to be able to sometimes pick a direction and stick with it and go with it and be not hesitant, right? Whatever the word for that is, the opposite of hesitant. You have to be, well, I guess it's confident, right? You have to gain some confidence, and having any sort of self-doubt or anything like that is going to interfere with the process. And another way of putting it, even if you don't really know what you're doing, the reason they say, fake it till you make it is because even if you don't know what you're doing, if you approach the situation with confidence, you instill confidence in others. And also, it takes that confidence to be able to, first of all, to put your hands on a situation to give you the opportunity to learn something about it. And failure is not the end of the world. Everybody expects you to fail. People are far more respectful of a person who is trying yet failing than somebody who doesn't try at all. And that'll show in the professional world very quickly if you can adapt to that and figure out how to display and project confidence, because people will instantly start coming to you for advice and giving you more responsibility. And then that, in turn gives you the ability to ask for more money, because why wouldn't you if you're doing more? Okay, so conscious mind, we have the Chariot in the reverse. Very cohesive message here. So I'm feeling a strong energy of, well, in this case with the Chariot, you don't feel like you have a whole lot of accomplishments. Okay, so the Chariot in the upright position, this is a completion, it's an accomplishment. It's something sort of like a graduation. A graduation is a good illustration of this because it's, yes, a victory, but it's not the final victory. It's just a victory on the path. It's a qualification, right? I've achieved being qualified to move on to bigger and better things. Okay, so in the reverse, this is sort of a lack of qualification. And that is evident in your psyche, right? You're thinking, I haven't made as many victories as I would really like to. I haven't got as many things under my belt. There's some self-doubt that is causing you to feel like you don't deserve the things that you actually really want, right? And so that holds you back, that ties you up. And unfortunately, it's going to tie you up until you decide that it shouldn't, right? You got to put work into this, because if you don't put work into this, you'll feel like you're cheating if you make any progress, right? So put work into it so that you are subconsciously chipping away at what you feel is the dues that you owe to creating this situation. All right. Be careful about keeping this in your mindset that you have not reached certain milestones or whatnot. It on the one hand, I would tell you just to get it out of your mind, but on the other hand, the easiest way to get it out of your mind is to actually put work in. And even if that work doesn't seem productive, the work itself changes your mindset to how you deserve to succeed, if that makes any sense. Even if you devote a year of your life to doing something and you pretty much fail the entire time, at the end of that year, you still have the confidence that you've built because you stuck through for that long. And that is likely to make you very much more successful, even, if it just takes some more time. So, good thing to manage your level of confidence. I feel like I've said confidence about 500 times. So, this is your advice card. We have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. And what this is saying is don't let past prior failures interfere with your ability to move on. Or, it's funny, this somehow fits the rest of the reading perfectly. It's not a very multi-dimensional reading for you today. It's one message, and that is your failures don't mean anything. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about how things have happened in the past, and focus on your mindset going forward. Focus on your mindset now. Are you a person who always fails, who bad things always happen to, or are you moving forward in a good direction? And it was just a bump in the road, a hiccup, and now you're going to maintain that sunny, positive disposition. So this is asking you to remain steadfast, to be brave, and to have a relentless pursuit of that brighter side. Okay, your environment is the Knight of Coins in the reverse. All right, so this is not you, this is somebody around you. This is what you see when you look out around you into your environment, to those close nearby or far away. In this case, there's some stubbornness. There is the feeling that, and particularly in regards to finances, that things have to be successful, things have to go a certain way. They know what's best, only they don't always. Yes, they're a knight, right? So yes, they're pretty good in this realm, but they don't know everything. They're not the king, right? So dealing with this stubborn attitude, the biggest challenge is not letting it get to you, not letting it rub off, but just understand that this person is going through their own development, their own growth as well. So just kind of allow it to be, let it roll off your back. Don't let it knock you out of your good mental space, right? Okay, now, ironically, I just mentioned the King of Coins, and here he is in your fears. Okay, so this is a person who has all the responsibility, the physical responsibility, and you are being in your fears. You're shying away from that responsibility. You're saying, I don't know, I don't feel like I deserve that, and this is kind of a problem for you because it's holding you back from things that you really want. This situation, all of these cards wouldn't be so focused on the same sort of message if there wasn't something really great hiding behind these fears. So you have a tremendous amount of potential. Come on, the king, yeah. So it's very likely that your caution, that your judgmental nature towards yourself, and all of these things that could be seen as a negative are really what give you the skills to take this throne. They're really what gives you, you have an appreciation for it, right? You have a need to convince yourself and others that there is a correct way to do it, even if you're shying away from being the one that takes that role, that takes that responsibility. You know what's right. You know what this person looks like, right? But you just haven't put yourself in those shoes quite yet. But that comes with time. So keep in mind that all of your wildest dreams are hiding behind a door labeled your worst nightmares. Okay, so your overall message or the long term outcome is the Lover's card. And the Lover's card can definitely have like a romantic association with it, but most of the time, I find that it applies in a much better in a more general way where what this card is about is a specific type of love, and that's a love that is based on choice, a love that is based on commitment. So, what this is to say is that to have any really great, you think about like soulmate love, um, these really great loves are not always easy. It's not as though these people are always attracted to each other and never want to be apart. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't want to be around somebody. Sometimes you want to have some alone time or you just don't feel like committing. And this is when it's time to commit yourself because you know that something greater is there. It's about realizing what the end product of that is and committing yourself to it. But also in the process, falling in love with the journey itself, falling in love with the lows and the highs, right? The bad parts and the good parts all represent something that is good within the context of your whole life. So this devotion to what can sometimes be unpleasant is what really gets you to the juicy parts of life. So make sure that in this case, I think one of the best things that you can devote yourself to is a positive self-talk mindset, and to not be looking down on yourself, but to always be speaking positively to your subconscious. That's very important for you, and almost every card in your reading is saying that. So please pay attention to that, if nothing else. Okay, so that about does it for you today for this reading. So please leave me some comments or questions, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the reading, and I'll see you next time.